that very often. Maurice wanted e4. I wanted g4. What is the move between e4 and g4? Yes, this would have been James's move.
Yeah,
bridging the gap between.
Let's go F4.
The funny thing is, all those moves are good, and bang!
Bam!
Win, baby! Brush your shoulders off. That's what I said. He's going to play the line. And Vishy decided, I like what you did, Garry. I'm going to play e6 this time. And let's play for this line with bishop b5, though, instead of
Bishop
the
c6.
move bishop c6. And Garry whipping his move like, excuse me, I prepped for this too.
I feel like that win just energized him in a way that he's coming out at a very brisk pace here early on in our fourth and final game of the day.
Do we believe what Gary's doing here? Okay, I'm a pawn grabber. Just show me what I'm missing. Knight takes d4. Show me what I'm missing.
Yeah, computer says
Probably
no way.
Knight takes d4. Bishop takes f1. Bishop is released to God knows where. I don't know.
And now what?
Vishy has decided to do it differently. I'm going to take on e2, and I'm going to take on d4.
So, sorry, knight c5 came out. He took on e2. Sorry, Maurice, go for it. What is this? b5?
I mean, I don't see it, so I need help understanding. But immediately, the engine is saying,
okay,
black's got the game.
Well, the whole point is it's mate. Mate. Check.
Sure.
Mate.
Yep.
Mate ends the game. That's all you need.
Okay, so he has to play queen d3, only move?
Oh, then I get queen g5. Give me the horsey.
No way.
Give me the horsey.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
the game is over?
check.
That's it.
Wait, is this what's on the board?
What?
No, this is my analysis.
No, hold on.
The players will catch up with
this
it.
is what's on the board, right?
It's on the board.
Yeah.
This is on the board.
b5
right here.
is winning. It's over.
Gary's losing in 8 moves?
That's
correct.
what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. That was
Queen d3 on the board, queen check. Garry cannot believe the nonsense that has occurred here. He's literally lost a piece.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, there's some hope.
No, there's a 4-point advantage in material.
The worst part is Black can castle.
That's exactly right.
Black can just bring a rook into the game, and he has done so.
Defend the knight.
Gary can resign?
Well, wait a minute. G6 defends. C3, I can move the queen maybe? Just to get out of this pin. But I'm still in a
C3
pin.
on the board.
I'm still in a pin.
Knight to e7. You can't take that piece yet, so the other knight is showing up. Why can't he play king b1?
I think he's going to have to. Okay, king b1. You know, I'm going to be better after queen f5, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, better is like a dream.
No, but I'm material up. Right now, I'm up. Well, hold on, let me refresh.
But g4 on the board.
So that was a good move by Garry, just to stop this queen f5 nonsense, opening up the bishop, which we know we're going to need.
Yeah, multifaceted move.
Okay.
I'm still trying to come to grips with what has occurred, by the way.
Same.
Garry Kasparov lost a piece on 8
We
moves.
had asked him to pick up the pace, and it almost seems in some ways that the picking up of the pace is what bit him in the end.
It did.
What I'm impressed by...
He's giving back the piece.
What I'm impressed by is that...
is giving back the piece.
Garry, did not look so devastated. He was like, yeah, I hung a piece, whatever. And he's just kind of just shrugged it off. And has... shown some fight at least, because it was the kind of position he might have resigned.
Exactly.
Like, what the heck did I just do?
It was so
And now
bad.
he's trying to come back. It reminds me of a game between Magnus and, who did he play?
The English Jones.
Yes, Wayne Jones,
Wayne Jones,
where Magnus blundered a piece and came back and even won the game. This doesn't feel like that, by the way, because there were some pieces on the board, some play. Vishy has smartly, maybe not the most accurate way to play, but has smartly decided, we'll play an endgame where I am going to have a massive advantage. I'm a pawn up.
Yeah.
And you are just losing. And Garry does not like this ending at all.
Yeah, exactly. Again, we can question if there wasn't a way of keeping more material, but you're absolutely right. This ending is just so nasty for White.
He
trades rook first with check.
And now he's forced to play rook g1, and he's got a hope against hope. that somehow Vishy's technique is not up to the task. Knight versus bishop again, by the way. Vishy with the knight. We've seen this argument over and over. I like me my knight, and I'm going to try to exploit this.
One of the things that you try to do whenever you have the knight is secure the knight. So f5, I love this idea that we might in the near future play moves like d3 and rook d3. You're securing the knight.
Yeah, but bishop e2 to kick your rook, right? So
look at this. Interesting. I would have waited for rook e1 myself. I like developing the king. Interesting by Vishy.
Again, Vishy does not want to give away that knight for sure. Even he's up a pawn. He doesn't want to see the end game. He's going to slow play this.
He has to.
Say, I'm up a pawn, and we're just going to keep playing. Let's see you defend this.
Yeah, forget about me being a piece up. That's ancient history. I'm a pawn up. And I'm enjoying my extra pawn. Ooh, look at Garry. Gary saying, I've got counterspiel.
And now f5, cementing the e4 square, but weakening the e6 pawn.
In order to defend that pawn.
h7.
We've got e6 covered, which is
this pawn here is an issue, potentially. And now the rook attacks the pawn, the rook defends, rook attacks again, and now that rook, man, that rook has been dancing. I went to g3, and to h3, to e3, to e5. He's got some measure of control over the position, but he's still down a pawn. And black will be able to bring the king up and eject that rook eventually from that square.
Exactly. So ideas of a6 and immediate ejection, by the way, James Bond style, you know,
with the idea of the idea of pushing that pawn in front of the rook, getting that weakness out of the game. This is not easy to defend for white.
Exactly. Now, if I'm in Gary's shoes, I'm thinking a4, trying to entice b takes a4, rook a5. You know?
Actually, truthfully, a4. If you can take, if he doesn't capture, right, like you mentioned, you can take and you at least create the weakness on that square. So if you can play this move really away, it's black's move right now.
Yeah.
But if he
just played bishop f3, by the way.
King up. If he could play a4 and take that pawn. So let's just play that really fast, yes.
Go.
A4. No. King d7. A4.
Yep.
There it is. Actually, you don't even have to worry about it because he played it.
Right.
A4. Now if a6 you take. So Vishy decided not to let that happen because you could take it and leave that B pawn as a weakness. Now your knight can't move. So that was the key. He wanted to create a weakness on that square. Vishy decided I didn't want to see that weakness. And now
Vishy,
dramatic capture.
This allows
back
a check.
What?
And Gary's going to win his pawn back.
And Gary's shaking his head like, why?
Why did you allow this to happen, Vishy?
I'm going to take that.
I get both
I'm going to take. I'm not even taking. Genius. I love it. He decided, I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to play the position. And we are seeing Magnus versus Wayne Jones. Are we seeing that? Where he's now saying, I'm playing for the win.
Right.
The A-pawn is history. The A-pawn for black.
Dead in the water.
Is absolutely dead in the water. And the C-pawn for black is on a light square. That's got to be defended.
Vulnerable.
What has Vishy done? He was a piece ahead. He's still a pawn up. But he's going to lose at least one of them. Garry is back in business.
Bishop back to e2 or
probably d1.
Okay.
But you're absolutely
stunning.
Stunning. I mean, wow.
Stunning.
I think Vishy is shocked himself that he's allowed Garry right back in the game. By the way, he is. Clock times.
I was about to say 3 minutes and 20 seconds to Vishy's name, 1:30 for Garry. But that's interesting to me because it implies that at some point Vishy, in a critical moment, did not take the time he needed to evaluate the position because he's got almost a plethora. He's got more than half his bank to work with.
He played very quickly, evaluated that piece position where he's going to I'm going to be up a pawn, let me do that.
Yeah.
Played way too practically, and now definitely it's looking to equalize. For Garry, this is a massive success. If he just handles himself correctly here, he should draw the game, although there is an advantage of pass two against one on one side.
Yeah.
But liquidating this last pawn off on this side is wonderful for Garry. Get rid of that last pawn. Does he want to play b4? Nope. Let's get rid of that. And now he just needs to stop these pawns from going anywhere, which it looks like they're not going anywhere. Bring the king over. And Gary's going to draw this game at least. He was a piece down.
Absolutely stunned.
Okay. He really, really fought his way back into this game.
Pulled a rabbit out of a hat.
Truly.
Vishy's going to be shaking his head at dinner tonight.
How did he let him escape? And the players are saying no draws are off.
No draws until move 60. Sorry, you got to move. Don't think you're getting away with that. Let's see the position play itself out. Vishy has accepted that this is indeed a draw. He's going to sack the last piece, and that, I believe, is that.
There you have it. Yeah, no draw offers before the completion of Black 60's move.
Wow.
It's an instructive moment for those of us who are less practiced in chess as to why that is a draw, because all the material will come off of the board. Now there's not enough to work with in either case. So 2.5 to half a point through day one. It's Garry Kasparov who comes out on top.
The players had a chit-chat there just to... Garry, Maurice, he was busted at move 8. What happened?
I mean, he hung that piece. We saw it with the queen g5 check. But it was Vishy who played way too practically in this moment here. He saw that he could play this move knight to d5, and you can see this is not the best move because he's going to give back material, which is exactly what happened. He saw this trade and go down into this position where we saw a pawn is a pawn, but it was not enough. You'd have to play technically really well. Garry fought back like a beast in this position. Here, Vishy had to expend some time on the clock. As you said, James, this was the position where Vishy had to say, look, I'm a piece up. What's the solution to the problem? How do I keep it going? And one of those moves was the move rook to d6, and after king to b1, rook over. And in this position, c takes d4 can now be met by bishop takes d4, and you can't just decide you're going to capture because after rook takes d4, well, it looks like you're down 2 pawns at the moment. Am I counting wrong?
No, 2 pawns.
It's right. 2 pawns in this position. A very different math if you're down 2 pawns.
Right.
And he could have given back the piece, but 2 pawns up. Just stop and think for a moment. Really look at the position somewhat. Instead, he played quickly, satisfied with only 1. Sorry, it wasn't enough.
Wow.
And he ended up giving Garry the win for the day. By the way, that draw has also been pushed to games 11 and 12. So those games are
bonus money.
Sweetening in the bonus money.
It's a good point. It's a good point. 3 draws, 1 decisive victory here through the end of the first day. So Garry is ahead when it comes to the overall scoreline. Plenty of room still to run. Of course, you saw there, and you can take a look in our head-to-head. It is a cool $1,000 already in Garry's pocket, as he did get that decisive victory in Game 3 of Blitz. But perhaps in some ways, the most stunning result is actually our 4th game of the day. We're still a little bit reeling from what we saw just take place out there.
Yeah, Garry blundered tactically in this position that I have on the board. He played the move queen c4, and he was like, okay, I sacrificed a pawn for a bit of an initiative. Let me castle. But what rocked his world was the move b5, something he absolutely did not see, because he's thinking, my queen defends e2. If I allow knight e2, it's check followed by checkmate. I have to move my queen to cover and then the double attack. And now, if he had resigned right here, we would have said wise decision.
Yes, he laughed to himself.
Right, I mean, like, okay.
You know, amazing.
But to have the tenacity then, to hold on and to fight. Either way, the players have delivered for us today in an incredible way. But we have Anastasia standing by with Vishy for a quick word. Take it away.
Thank you, guys. I'm here, as you said, with Viswanathan Anand, who just finished the first day of the Clutches, the Legends here today. 4 games, so much fire, so intense battles. Vishy, how did it feel for you today?
Well, it's my first 960 event since, almost, 20 years ago. And yes, it was quite interesting. I mean, the first game was very exciting. At some point, I think, well, it might have flipped even a couple of times. Second one, I think, was the most stable. Third, I mean, I'm just worse, so I shouldn't really have, I should have probably settled down. But then when I got this knight on c5, I thought I had to try, but it was just, in the blitz, I was actually playing very badly.
Yeah, and the last game, what can you say? Was it even surprising for you what happened in the last one?
Yes, I mean, normally I should win this quite easily, but I mean, it's not like I had any chance. But I was playing just too fast. I think I was upset by the third game.
I see. And how would you describe the first day with one word, let's say?
Jumping in the deep end.
Yeah, I mean, and let's come back a little bit to the beginning of this day. It was a great opening of the renovated, newly reopened St. Louis Chess Club. What does it mean for you? What do you think it means for all chess fans here in St. Louis and in the world?
Well, it's very nicely designed, and of course, I'm happy to be back. I was happy to play in the old venue, but the new one's even nicer.
Absolutely. And can you tell us a little bit about these 15 minutes before the game started, and like how did you process after the end of each game? Like, did you try to analyze it more, or just relax? Like, tell us about your routine.
It varied. I mean, sometimes I was looking at it, sometimes I was just taking a deep breath. 15 minutes is not a lot. So essentially, I was drawing from our impressions on the first session. That's when I really spent 15 minutes looking at the position.
Yeah, in between, I saw that you were also still checking something at the board.
Yes, once in a while I try to sit and look at the board.
Absolutely. And Vishy, after such an intense day, what is the plan? How are you going to rest and get ready for tomorrow?
Yeah, just go back, have dinner at some point, and then take a look at the games.
Yeah, and my last question, I mean, with this absolutely amazing format of clutch chess where nothing is clear until the very end, do you have some special strategy, or will it affect somehow your preparation for next days?
No, I will just try to play, but knowing that there's everything to fight for, I think makes it quite nice.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Vishy. Thank you. It was so much pleasure to watch you playing today. And we are back to the studio to Maurice, Dash, and Yasser.
Thank you, Anastasia. Indeed.
Describing day one as diving into the deep end.
He looked morose, though.
He had so much opportunity in the games, Maurice, and this fourth game. Look, dude, you know. Somebody gives you a whole piece, you're going down. I don't care who you are.
That's not something you want to be remembered for in any way. So he's going to have to get his form back and start playing well in the next few games. This was not because it was chess 960 at all. He just wasn't on point. And as he said, I didn't spend long enough. I just played too fast. Why? You had all that time on the clock. You have a piece. Figure out the best path forward, and just blitzed it out and cost him.
In this case, can benefit from having a short memory. Put that one behind you. You've got 2 more days ahead with plenty more points and plenty more prize money to be snapped up. Speaking of prize money, bonus money at that. Let's go ahead and take a look as it all counts up from $4,000 through 3 games, now up to $4,500 apiece for games 11 and 12 coming on day 3 when it comes to that bonus money. Honestly, probably going to grow a little bit more as we see it all play out tomorrow as well. We got a word from Vishy. Now let's go right back to Anastasia, who's standing by with Garry Kasparov.
Hello, guys. Yes, we are here together with Garry Kasparov. Garry, welcome to the studio. What a day it was.
A new studio, yes.
Absolutely. New club, new studio. How did this absolutely crazy but so important day for the club went for you?
Oh, I think I have to watch my back on the street now. With this kind of luck, you know, it's really dangerous. So I'm really, you know, just still I'm trying to digest, you know, what's happened. Because I started this match with very little expectation. So my goal was at least to play and just not to lose all the games, because last time I played chess at the board was 1 year ago. This against Sam Sevian. That was my last game, and now I'm facing Vishy, and I, as you know, I had to miss the opening yesterday because I didn't feel well after my trip, and I bet Vishy has been, you know, preparing extensively, and my preparation was just, you know, a few dozens, probably a couple of dozens games with Peter Swidler and some discussions, you know, about some positions. But I just 4 days ago I was in Spain doing a lecture, so that's not the best way to prepare. And but I think this is, you know, sometimes, you know, you have to find an explanation for your luck, because I work hard and I tried hard, and even the game won, you know, I was under heavy pressure. And also just, you know, the moment, you know, I played bishop c6, I said, why didn't I play bishop b5? Because I saw this, there was an option. And I was really under heavy pressure. Maybe just there were moments that you guys have to tell me whether I could have probably just better at one point, but I think I built even the fortress, but then I just destroyed it myself. And then just all of a sudden, Vishy, I think he celebrated prematurely. And also to my surprise, he played much slower than I expected. And I did better in a time trouble. So again, another surprise. So just as and game one actually offered me a lot of optimism. I think game two, I think I was nearly winning game two. So again, the guys should tell me probably instead of knight d4, knight f4, and after rook f8, maybe h3. So I could smell, I could smell the victory, but just then it's out of shape. And in game three, I had a huge advantage. I mean, it's a huge advantage, and I just. Again, totally. It's how could I not play c5? This is instead of rook d8, c5. Just to stop. d4 forever. e5 pawn is going to die very soon, and I don't have to exchange queens. So it's. And I played so poorly. I just nearly. And when Vishy played d5, I just want to resign. I should only move to defend the rook g6, and all of a sudden my pawn started advancing.
Started to run.
Yes. It's classic. This is the so-called trousers. Yeah, yes. 3 pawns are just are not as good as 2.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it was a surprise for him also.
Yeah, it was. But again, it's the I expected him just to be much quicker in the time trouble, and I think this is when we reached this is the critical moment of the game. Just was basically a minute left. I think I did a better job, and in the last game I just want to play something crazy like c3, knight c5. I wasn't sure because I just thought maybe some interesting combinations, and I just played knight c5 and should I resign? But it was not so good. Just let's play, and again he could have won many, but he just left. He went for the end game, which is technically won. And to my surprise, I think I outplayed him in this endgame. I totally outplayed him. Just rook g3, rook h3, rook e3. Yeah, I just thought, wow, this is at one point when I played rook e5, I said, I think I can probably just survive. And I think he expected me to resign. So this is I resisted, and then I think he still had some winning chances, but I think I could read in his mind that he already lost any hope.
I mean, can we actually say that this last game is an example of something like never give up?
No, it's never give up. The game is not over. So But again, I think what's the most important for me in this game is that I could manage to do well in the end game without a pawn, and it's technical end game. It's one end game, but somehow I think he thought it's easy. I mean, definitely knight c4. I don't like knight on c4. I mean, so his knight had to stay in d5, not on d6, because d6. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you feel really rush of adrenaline when you started to play the first game? How did it go for you?
Look, I said it's my first game at the physical chessboard. I mean, seriously, first game. So and I had some good feelings. Because yesterday, I mean, I had no choice, but I had to stay, just behind. I just had to see. First thing I had to see my doctor because my nostrils, my ears, after the flight, terrible. And then somehow, I came back home, and as I talked to my wife, I mean, she was very pessimistic. She said, "Okay, again, you're going there." And someone said, "You know what? I have some positive. I feel well. I still may collapse. I mean, I have no practice playing serious chess, for a very long time. But somehow I sensed, maybe it's not going to be that bad. So and again, it's just set aside the horrible opening game 4. I think I did relatively well. In the game 1, I think I tons of ideas. It's not that it's rapid chess and we're definitely out of our prime. But I think I was industrious. That's what probably being rewarded by Kasia.
Yeah. And also, we have such a long rivalry with Vishy. I mean, many chess fans believe that there were golden pages of the history of chess, this rivalry. And now, how did you feel, I mean, playing against Vishy, especially your personal feeling about all these years you competed against each other, and today, what does it mean for you?
Look, I started this match with zero expectations. I mean, somehow I sense maybe that's it's fair to give Vishy a chance to improve the score, because I had a huge advantage in classical chess, though in rapid and blitz it was not that clear. And again, I always play in St. Louis once a year. So this is they said, you play Vishy. I said, fine, okay. I remember sometime in summer, my wife asked me, so what? I mean, it's just, you're serious. Now you play Vishy now. You go. I said, yeah. I said, maybe you start preparing. I said, okay, fine, let me call Peter. I talked to Peter, actually. I spoke to him this morning. So we talked about some positions. So this is general ideas. So, and, you can't explain this. Somehow I feel that again. It's my duty to come here and play chess. So, and I'm not. Yeah, of course I don't like losing, but I understand that again. It's more like making chess fans happy, and so probably just it's a way to pay back. This is what I gained from the game of chess.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your interview, Garry, and for sharing the thoughts. And it was such a great day today. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good luck tomorrow.
Absolutely. Okay, fine. Tomorrow is another day.